So Football Friday here on WGR. Brought to you by Salino Law. Car crash, call Salino. Call the 8s. And by Crosby's Pizza and Subs. Crosby's Hometown Fuel. Game day ready since 1922. We will, though, mix in some hockey here as the Sabres are playing today, 4 o'clock, right here on WGR. No show up in the Bulldog today because we will have Sabres hockey against New Jersey at KeyBank Center. And they are fresh off a loss in Pittsburgh. So Paul Hamilton joining the show now. Good morning, Paul. We had a happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, how about you?
Not bad. The Chiefs losing helps, but I'm still full from yesterday. A lot of food.
Well, it's one of those deals, too, not in our league, but another one. You know, I have Mahomes, so I got 37 points out of Mahomes, and then he lost.
Perfect.
You know?
Perfect.
How much better could it be?
That could, right? Yeah, the best touchdown, maybe your favorite touchdown he's ever scored, down 10 at the end of a game, because they're still probably going to lose, and you get the points. Yeah.
Yeah, so that worked out well.
That's solid. So, Paul, going back to Wednesday night before we get to today, the Sabres are back in last in the East, 9-10-4. The specifics of the game I want to get to with you, but more than that, they are just incapable of winning on the road this year, Paul, 1-6-2. And I wonder if you see something that just looks different on the road. Like, what is the explanation for their being really good at home this year and they just cannot figure it away from KeyBank Center?
Yeah, that's a game that you got to come home with points. It's as simple as that. I mean, they at worst were even in that game, and once they got going, they were the better team. You know, at first, Pittsburgh was the better team. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen had to hold them in and did. And then all of a sudden, probably about, 10 minutes into the second period, maybe about a little bit more than that, all of a sudden, they took over and simply got goalied again. I mean, Jari, who hadn't played in 7 games because he was injured, was fantastic. Talk about a goalie holding his team in. That's exactly what he did. Because the Sabres were hitting grade A chances. It wasn't, cheap shots or anything like that. They were right on the doorstep and just couldn't get anything by him. And, it was still 1-0 at the end of 2 periods, but then you tie it up in the third period. So here you are again. At that point of the game, playing well. You've tied the game in the third period. You're playing a team you're chasing, and you walk away and give them 2 points, and you don't have any. And one of the things that really stuck with me, Lindy Rufflick, as soon as he got here for this second term of being the head coach, talked about 1%ers. And he said that's the one thing that they're going to concentrate on is those little details that are 1%ers. And he goes, if you get better at enough of those 1%ers, you're going to be a really good hockey team. And that's where they lost that game, is those little details, those 1%ers that went by the wayside, and at the end of the day, it killed them. And, here you are, you've taken 8 out of 10 points going into the game, and you've dug yourself such a hole, unfortunately, for the team. It had gotten them 1 point, they had passed one team and tied another. That's all that did for you. Taking 8 out of 10 points, which is good. Played some decent hockey there. Along in that streak, got their only road victory of the season and had to come back from 3 goals down to do it. But they did accomplish that. But they only passed one team, and they only have lost 1 game. So now they've won 4 out of 6 games instead of 4 out of 5, and they're right back in the cellar again. That's how bad the hole they've dug themselves is because they played that kind of hockey, won 4 out of 5 games, which is 8 out of 10 points. Now you've taken 8 out of 12 points. That's still very good. And now you haven't passed anybody. I mean, that's the thing. And it's just, again, it's not how many points they're behind. It's
Every
how many
team.
teams they have to leapfrog. If they're in ninth place, and in this situation, we're not even having the conversation. We're not even talking about it. They could be 6, 7 points down if they were in ninth place, and they're fine. You can make that up in a hurry over one team.
Mm-hmm.
But having to make it up over 8 teams, well, that's a whole different story.
Paul Hamilton with us. Paul, in the game, how much of the blame would you put on Luukkonen's shoulders for that game? Or I guess of the 3 goals that he let in, how much at fault do you think he was on them?
I think Luukkonen is a lightning bolt for a lot of people. Do not like him at all. So they have an agenda to start with. He held them into the game to start with for the first half of that game with some great saves. The first goal is deflected and it moved a lot. And I'm reading people saying he should have had that.
Well, I guess it's
how do you have that when your defenseman deflects that puck and it moves as much as that puck did?
The complaint I saw is why he was sliding so far out to the right on a wrist shot was the thing that I had seen, which maybe there's a defense for, but
I mean he's there ready for it. And if there's the first thing Byram did is he lifted his left leg. If you're not going to block the shot, get out of the way. I mean, what are you lifting your left leg for? Block the shot and get out of the way. I mean, but to deflect it and to make it go that far, he has no chance on that. The second goal, yes. What happened on the second goal is after he lost the stick, he's trying to pick it up and didn't get it. Mm-hmm. So now he's scrambling in the crease to try to get over. And as he's doing that, he opens up the 5-hole. Now, if he has a stick, the 5-hole is probably going to be covered. Most goaltenders will cover the 5-hole with his stick. So now he's vulnerable. So once again, Byram goes down to block the shot, and it goes under him. So now you don't see the puck until it comes out, but still you're on your hands and knees, and you do have the 5-hole open. Mm-hmm. So even though you don't see the shot to the last second, you're still not in great. He's squared up, but the 5-hole's wide open because he never was able to pick up his stick and then started scrambling once that happened. So that one, even though he saw it at the last second, he's still not in great shape because of not having the stick. And, I'll go along with that one that, if without the stick, if you got the pads together, you're going to be okay. Third one, you have no chance because Owen Power again, and that's the 1%er I'm talking about, where what are you doing? You're right there. You're right there to pick this guy up, but you don't pick him up. You just let him come right through the slot and score. And he does that a lot. There are parts of his game that I think he's really improved at, but that is the biggest thing that just keeps happening. Mm-hmm. He's there, but he's not covering the guy. I mean, how many times have you seen him just standing next to the guy, but not tying him up, to take him out of play, and the guy winds up scoring because he didn't tie up the stick or he didn't knock him down or whatever. So, that's what I'm talking about with the 1%ers. The first goal, you got Timmins. It's a very simple, and as Lindy Ruff, he just said in frustration, I don't know what he's doing there.
Yeah. Do you think Lindy is, I don't know, like what Lindy's opinion might be of Power at this point? He has not recorded a point in 6 games, Paul. I know he's defenseman. He's not like necessarily, that's not job number 1 for him, but he is supposed to put up a little bit. And to have no points, and more than that, he played more than 20 minutes almost every game of the year until this 6-game stretch where he's played over 20 minutes only once. And that might be the more telling thing, is that Lindy's playing him, it's not crazy, but it's like 3-4 minutes fewer a game in this last couple of weeks.
I thought until these last couple of weeks that came along, I thought he was playing better hockey. I thought he was fine. And it just seems like, it hasn't gone as well. Mm-hmm. And it was actually a question I asked about Bryson after he scored that sleek goal where he, put a good move on. And then Bryson scores again and actually should have I think, gotten the goal, and they got screwed on a replay again, where it was. I don't think it was goaltender interference. So my question was, would you like to see Bryson get into the play a little bit more, and join the rush a little bit more? And he said, I'd like to see all of them. He goes, that's part of our offense is the fourth guy joining. So he said, no, I wouldn't just pick him. He goes, I want them all to be in the rush like that. And so that would include Power too, that, he's just not seeing it enough, and Power has proven when he does become that fourth man, he becomes pretty dangerous. I've seen him be able to score and help when he becomes that fourth man and gets up into the rush, and he just needs to do it more.
Paul, today's game, 4 o'clock against the Devils. Gotta guess. I feel like I'm asking you this every time they play, but what's your best educated guess on goalie tonight? Lion?
He might stick with Luukkonen. My best educated guess was I thought Ellis was going to play,
right.
and he didn't. He didn't even dress, and other people thought it was Lion. Not one person thought it was Luukkonen.
Right.
and he wound up in the net. I mean, Luukkonen's numbers over 5 games were excellent. They were like 2.41. He had a save percentage of .911 over his last 5 appearances. Those didn't go up because there was an empty net goal, which there always is. So, I mean, that only went up slightly because of the last game. And if you think about it, I mean, Pittsburgh starting in the second period was all over the Sabres. And for about 13 minutes, Luukkonen made a lot of very good saves to keep them in. That's another thing too. You just like you did with McDavid, really Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin weren't a factor against the Sabres. So if I would have said to you, well, they're basically going to do to Crosby and Malkin what they did to McDavid, you probably would have thought, well, they got a pretty good chance of winning a hockey game. They probably should win that hockey game. And so you hold those two guys down, and they're Sabre killers when you look at it. When you look at their career numbers against the Sabres, and you held them down, and you still aren't able to win a hockey game. I
don't think they were matched up every time, Paul, but I saw that the McLeod, Zucker, Quinn line maybe got matched up against Crosby a bunch, and when that line was on the ice, I'm pulling it up right now because I saw it, that they outshot the Penguins, where is it? Or shot attempts were 20-11 when they were out there, and they kept playing against the Crosby line.
And you wouldn't even have to look at that. I mean, you could have, even the eye test will tell you that. And very often, the eye test will line up with the analytics. The McLeod line was all over the Sabres. Before they even scored, they had a bunch of great opportunities. They had 2 grade A chances before the first goal went in, which wound up being Zucker. It was originally credited to Quinn, but it hit Zucker in front. And but they never gave up. They just kept going, even though Jari had made a couple of really good saves right before that. So the McLeod line was very, very good for this hockey team.
Very quickly, do we know is Josh Norris playing today, or if not, maybe this weekend?
Well, all Lindy Ruff would say is he wouldn't rule it out. I really thought he was going to play last game until Lindy Ruff said no. It's because he was in a line. He was with a line, and he was actually centering a line. Benson and Ostlund in practice, and he was working in on the number 1 power play with Benson. They were going back and forth. So I really thought, but then we asked Lindy Ruff, and then we asked Norris first because we go to the players first, and he said there's a chance. He said that's up, of course, to the coaching staff and the medical staff. But then Lindy Ruff afterwards said no, not this one, but haven't ruled him out for the weekend. So. Unless there's been a setback, it wouldn't surprise me at all if he played in this game.
Paul Hamilton, Sabres and Devils today, 4 o'clock. And thanks, Paul. We'll talk soon.
Sounds good. Take care.
3 o'clock for pregame here on WGR. You can hear more from Paul, Brian Koziel, and Sabres. 4 o'clock.